Vivek, good morning. Thank you.
Morning.
Okay, so we are live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday morning 61st weekly session, live on all the social media. Today we are on the count of 2,779 session as a total sessions done by Dr. K.K. Agarwal, Heart Care Foundation of India over a period of time. The purpose of one of this session is that we don't only cover the medical aspect, but we also cover the financial aspect, mental aspect, and all other scenarios, whatever we cover. So one of the sessions we wanted to conduct was on the financial health, which is directly and indirectly related to your mental health.
Everyone, Swarab, can you mute everyone except
Yes.
yourself and Mr. Anil?
Switched off.
Okay.
Close the door.
Okay. So sorry for the confusion between the virtual sessions. So now we are live on Facebook, YouTube. People who wants to ask the question can come on this Zoom session. Our session number is 841-473-1167. We are also live on YouTube and Facebook. We have been receiving a lot of questions about investments, how to invest money. People have lost jobs over a period of time. This pandemic has not only created issues on the medical aspect, but also a lot of people have suffered losses on the financial aspect. There are loans running in. People do not have income. The first income, the primary income has been gone for a toss because people have lost job. However, people do come back and ask questions that markets are all-time high. How is the Indian economy? Should I go and invest at this level? So there are a lot of questions which keep coming in. So to answer this question, we wanted to bring somebody who can really throw light on insight of what is happening in the economy. Do we need to invest at this level? Should I invest in equity? Should I invest in a debt? Fixed deposits are only giving me a 3-4% return. That is probably less than the inflation. That means if I invest in a fixed deposit, I'm losing money. It is better to spend that money. What would have had done about 5 years ago when I started earning, or 10 years ago when I started earning, that I could pass this stage of pandemic. So people do plan for investments, for marriage, for child education, for trips, international trips, but they never thought of getting into a situation where they lose a job. So what do I do today so that the next pandemic, which we don't want, but in case it comes, how can I sustain my wealth? So also these questions will be answered by none other than Mr. Anil Nahar. He's a senior global banker. He has been more than 2 decades in the investment banking and the wealth management, heading the portfolios at Barclays, Merrill Lynch. Somebody muted me, sorry. Okay. Merrill Lynch, Citibank across India and Singapore, as a founder of Regis and Savoy Capital, a Bangalore and a UK-based multi-family office practice. He manages relationship with someone of the most respected citizens of the country. He specializes in creating the multi-generation wealth management solutions for Fortune 100 clients, and a lead of private equity desk to identify and invest in innovative and scalable enterprise. Looks very fantastic, but I think we need the general answers on how we can do it. So over to Mr. Anil Nahar for presenting, and then we will open the forum for question answers.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you for the generous introduction. And my special thanks to Vivek Kumar from Bangalore for introducing me to Dr. KK and for giving me an opportunity to address this lovely forum today from the dais of Dr. KK Agarwal's Heart Care Foundation. Thank you very much. I'm known as a very boring speaker, so that's my statutory warning to all of you this morning. And I'll try my best to keep it as entertaining as possible. Just give me a second. No, just come.
So Meanwhile, Mr. Anil Nahar is getting ready. I would request people to pin down your question answers. Once the presentation is over, I know a lot of questions will come up. We would keep 20 minutes for the question answers.
Okay. So I have been asked to discuss about investing during pandemic. I'll try to keep the scope of this discussion a little beyond before, after pandemic, during pandemic. I think if there's one thing which this pandemic has taught all of us is to be safe, how to be safe, how to be precautious. 125 crore people of this country never thought of wearing masks when we were not even disciplined enough to wear helmets. But this pandemic forced all of us to get a little more disciplined, a little more precautious. So to me, that's one of the first lessons, that it is always better to be safe than sorry. And this pandemic taught all of us the ugly way. One of the biggest collateral damage of this pandemic has been the uncertainty which it created around. I don't think there was any other event on this planet where this degree of uncertainty was created, right from the highest level, right from the World Health Organization to the poorest of poorest in this country. There was complete uncertainty. We had absolutely no idea about this virus, what it is about, how to handle it. It was all learning as we were going through the pandemic. So to me, uncertainty has been the biggest collateral damage of this pandemic. But today, I'm not talking as a medical fraternity person. I'm here to talk as an investor and from an investment fraternity. So therefore, for me, the focus remains that in this uncertainty, what did the investors do, what they could have done, how we could have created wealth or profit from this opportunity. In the sense, as a sane investor, as a smart investor, was this pandemic an opportunity? Was this uncertainty an opportunity, or it was a loss? At personal level, at social level, at emotional level, certainly it was a huge loss for all of us. But at an investment level, I think it was a huge opportunity. The fact of the market remains that wealth lies in the womb of uncertainty. Market never offers discount when there is certainty. You get discounts and huge discounts when there is uncertainty. And therefore, when there was uncertainty on March 23rd, as we all know, markets collapsed globally, not just in India. And most of us were locked inside our homes, glued to the television sets, overwhelmed with emotions, watching the deaths across the world, watching the statistics, which none of us like to watch, but we were so curious to know about what is happening around the world due to this pandemic, which is great. But we all were so overwhelmed that we just forgot, most of us forgot, to wear the hat of an investor and sit back and think, is there an opportunity for me in this? There certainly was an opportunity during the peak of the pandemic. How many of us actually made money in that, and why we did and why we did not? Some of you, I'm sure, who wore the hat of investors must have made good money. The learning from this is one needs to be objective. One needs to be very, very objective while dealing with markets. While we were busy watching TV sets, there were global investors and many large investors making money from this market. And there is nothing wrong as an investor. There's nothing wrong in creating wealth in the right way. But it is easier said. I mean, it's not as easy as it looks. So definitely there has to be some solution to this. There has to be an approach. And according to me, the best approach is to implement process. As my slide says, process, process, and process. Emotions can never allow us to make good wealth in the long term. Therefore, we need to have a good process, a sound process, if one really is looking and aspiring to create long-term wealth. You may still end up making money. Some of you must have made huge money during the fall last March. Probably that was not due to your process, that was not due to your intellect. Maybe it was just sheer luck or some streak decision. But then to implement a good process, like in any other walk of life, even in wealth management and in investment planning, one needs sound, solid action plan. So today, I've just tried to summarize this by putting up certain action plans as to how does one handle this beast of investment planning, financial planning, which is so much talked about. So according to me, the first action plan for all of us should be putting our financial house in order. The moment we put our financial house in order, and I'll explain to you what I mean by this, what we achieve is efficiency, better control, good decisions, and most of all, objective handling of our financial goals. I'm sure we are all aware that during this pandemic, in many of our friends and families, in our friends' families, the key breadwinner, the key man of the family, who by default also manages finance in our Indian communities and families, it's the male member predominantly who takes the responsibility of managing finance. And many of us during this pandemic got infected. And then they got isolated. And they also got hospitalized. And many of them who were unfortunate lost their lives. And this pandemic really opened my eyes and made it even more important for me to put this as the first action plan. No matter how good your portfolio is, no matter how much of money you made, just imagine during the pandemic, you had all the best of best stocks in your portfolio. You had the best schemes, mutual funds, bonds, everything you did very well, but none of your family members were aware of where it is. And you, the only person who are aware, are either isolated, not accessible, or hospitalized, or no more. Of what use was that portfolio to that family? Of what use was that insurance? I have seen many of my friends and colleagues and neighbors scrambling around in their houses, figuring out, does my dad have any insurance? He did have, but they had no clue where it is, what type of insurance it is, what is the cover, how do I claim it? So therefore, I felt that the first thing one needs to do is to put the house in order. Housekeeping in simple terms. Whatever we do, make sure we keep our family members or one of our trusted members in our circle informed about it. And I hope most of us here in this audience will agree with me that this has happened to many of us around us. And therefore, ensure all your investments, your financial activities are well audited. When I say audit, I don't mean appointing an auditor. Self-audit, put it in a nice order so that when there is a need, it is of some use for the family. And another important thing we realized is most of us either invest in single names or in joint names. But this pandemic made us realize that it is extremely important to invest not as a single, not as a joint, but under any one or survivor option. These are very, very simple, basic tips or knowledge or information which I'm discussing. But trust me, this pandemic, we have seen people struggling simply because they did not implement these small, simple things in their portfolios. When you have any one or survivor options in all your investments, if you have, excellent. If you do not, please try your best to get it shifted or switched to any one or survivor. It will do wonders for the family. Ultimately, whatever we leave behind has to be of some help to the family. It should not become a nuisance value for them. When you make it any one or survivor, it's as smooth as it can be. The money can be withdrawn by the family without running around or without even stepping out of their homes. I've also discussed about preparing a formal will. Yes, it is important. Pandemic did not give even 72 hours to some of us. And there was nothing which could be done sitting in the hospital. And now I'm sure this has led to many family disputes, property disputes, loan disputes, because the guy who did is no more and the family is clueless. So of what use is it to discuss stocks, sectors, interest rates, and inflation if we haven't put this part in order? And therefore, I felt this should be a first action plan for the day. The next important part on this journey of wealth management is goal setting. Like any other objective one wants to achieve, any other goal. In business, we set goals or targets. But when it comes to financial planning and wealth management, most of us fail to set goals. We want to do something, but we don't know what we want to do. And therefore we keep jumping buses. किसी ने बोला स्टॉक्स में डाल दो, किसी ने बोला रियल एस्टेट में डाल दो, अब आजकल बिटकॉइन चल रहा है तो किसी ने बोला बिटकॉइन में डाल दो. Let's be serious. Can we really create wealth by speculating? I don't think so. In my experience of 20 years, I haven't seen speculators becoming wealthy. I've seen them becoming rich and becoming poor overnight. Wealth means something else. Wealth means sustainable. Goal setting gives us meaning. It gives us direction to various financial decisions which we take. We are sure about what we know what we are deciding. Why am I deciding to invest into stock markets? Why am I not deciding to invest in stock market? How much to invest? When to invest? Why to invest? All these answers will get, all these questions will get answered when you have clear goals in front of you. And this is one of my favorite slides. Ask yourself, आपको पैसा जल्दी कमाना है या ज्यादा कमाना? Yes, certainly सबको जल्दी कमाना है, but unfortunately life is not that straight. जल्दी कमाते कमाते गंवा देते हैं. So you have to decide whether you want to earn fast or more. Accordingly, your portfolios can be set. You can plan your portfolios. I am someone who believes in ज्यादा कमाना है. और अगर ज्यादा कमाना है, then you need discipline, you need process, you need time, you need long term. This is one question which solves many of our dilemmas. When I'm talking about goals at a very generic level and a very simplistic level, I thought I should put it across because goal is again a very generic jargon. What I mean by goal setting is jaldi kamana hai ya jyada kamana hai, and how does one arrive at that? In life, I think normally financial goals can be divided into very short term. You have some requirements within the next 1 month, 3 months. I would call them very short term and short term. Then you have some requirements for 1 year to 2 years. We call them as the medium term. Then you have long term and very long term. That's where comes our role, creating long term wealth. And for many of us, when I say long term, they mean kitna 1 saal ya 2 saal. No, for us, long term means 10, 15 years. And that's how one plans. And then you have dynamic terms कि मुझे पता नहीं है 1 साल भी I can invest for 1 year, I can invest for 5 years. Accordingly, you map your expected returns. कि अगर short term है तो 4-5% आएगा, medium term है तो 8-10% आएगा, long term है तो 12-15-18% आएगा, dynamic है, risky है तो शायद 20-25% भी आ सकता है. You create this clarity. You get this clarity on your table and then map your products. Investing 1 month money into stock market just because किसी ने बोला कि Reliance Industries ले लो, you may make money, you make good money, unfortunate. Because the first time someone who makes money in the stock market, I call them unfortunate people. Because they are the ones who lose maximum later on. I call people who lose money the first time in the market as the most fortunate ones. Because जिसने पैसा गंवाया है, the next time he'll think 10 times. So when you have your terms on your table, short term, medium, long, when you have your expectations कि मुझे 5 चाहिए, 8 चाहिए, most of us don't even know what makes me happy. When your portfolio is growing at 30%, you feel greedy, you get greedy, abhi aur rakhte hain. And then it comes down to 15%, now you don't know what to do. So there has to be a math to this madness. There has to be a science, there has to be a method. And the next action plan, first one was housekeeping, second one was goal setting. The third action plan is discipline, self-discipline. And here I have an interesting question for all of you. This is something which I learned from my mother, and I'm sharing it with you all. I want all of us to guess one such food item which is the most easiest and simplest to make. It is so easy, literally anyone can make it. Literally anyone can make it, even a 2-year-old child. It is tasty, it is nutritious, and it is universal. Saurabh, if there are some people trying to take a guess on this, it will be interesting to know if anyone...
Let's have somebody to guess it. Kindly unmute yourself and guess the question. I see doctors are getting unmuted themselves.
Boiled egg.
So it says, so I getting a saying it says egg, it says rice. I don't think 2 years can make an egg or a rice. Are you kidding me? 2 years cannot make a rice. Tea.
Salad.
Salads. Okay.
Khichdi.
I think your kids are either very special to make khichdi at 2 years. Come on, answer a very simple question. What can, like, use your mind, you know, it's
Milk.
Let me just share this.
So somebody said curd.
Excellent. Yes, whoever said it, curds. Yes, it is right. And I hope we all agree. Curds, one of the most simplest food item to make. Tasty, nutritious, universal. You can ask your 2-year child also to make curds. But this simple looking food item actually has a very interesting story in wealth management. My mother used to warm the milk, put it in one pyali and keep it aside and, you know, put the Purana curds in that as the catalyst and then tell us, don't disturb this, isme dahi bana rahi hu. And morning, it used to turn into curds. Today, when I am into financial planning, I'm able to correlate. I realize it is not the milk which made the curds. It's not the catalyst, the Purana dahi which we put into the milk made the curds. It's actually the immense faith which we had in that process कि मैं रात को दूध रखूंगी और सुबह में दही बन जाएगा. It is that faith which made the curds. And to relate it with investments, most of us in the investment planning business, in the investment planning activity, हम रात को दूध में दही डालते हैं और रात को 1 बजे जाके देखते हैं दही बना क्या, उसको जाके हम शेक करते हैं और फिर 2 बजे उठ के फिर जाते हैं दही बना क्या, 3 बजे फिर जाके देखते हैं बना, अब तो बन गया होगा. होते होते 6 बज जाती है और दही नहीं बनता है और ना सुबह जब आप उठते हैं तो ना दूध मिला ना दही मिला ना छाछ मिलती है. This is exactly most of us do when it comes to investments. हम इन्वेस्ट करते हैं और फिर उसको हर सुबह देखते हैं आज कैसा है, जबकि इन्वेस्ट किया था लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए कि हम इसको इन्वेस्ट करके भूल जाएंगे, बट हर सुबह, हर वीक, हर महीने उसको डिस्टर्ब करते हैं and as a result the portfolio gets ruined. In the same analogy, na dahi bacha, na doodh, na chach. I hope I am able to convey my message. What I mean is, when we put up a goal, when we put up an action plan, we also need to support it with immense faith and a lot of time for your portfolio to grow. And only then you will enjoy the curds in your retirement, or your family will enjoy after you. So I always tell, allow the curds to happen, रायता मत फैलाओ. और इस स्टोरी में तो रायता भी नहीं बनेगा. I've heard many people telling me, मैंने Infosys लिया, मैंने Reliance लिया, मैंने markets में डाला, मैंने 700 में बेच दिया, अब 3000 हो गया. कोई बोलता है मैंने 3000 में बेचा, अब 6000 हो गया. So that's not the way, right? There has to be a science. It cannot be so flimsy. I also thought, let me share a few mantras after the action plans that, there are certain things which one needs to follow in investments, which leads to wealth creation. We all keep hearing about big wealth managers, successful wealth managers, starting from Warren Buffett to you have the Rakesh Jhunjhunwalas and on and on and on television screens. There is something different they must be doing. But the fact is, it is as simple as making curds. Let me tell you, even for them, what they do and what some of us don't do is we don't put in a process, we don't have a goal, and we don't allow it to settle. And along with this, we also have certain challenges. One of the biggest challenges for us is the behavior challenge. How do we handle investments? Most of us find it to be very boring. So we tend to procrastinate, we tend to postpone. Let me tell you, it costs hugely when you procrastinate or when you delay your investment plans. अगर आपको investment plan करना है, आज कीजिए. Today is the right day. Every day costs something. And that's because there is something called compounding in investments. And that's something which can do magics for your portfolios. And if you can make compounding as your best friend, you have made it. You don't need any investment gurus. Apart from compounding, we also have something called inflation, which we all know. I don't want to explain how inflation eats into the value of the money. So we need to make returns which are above inflation. We have to fight inflation. We have to fight compounding. Here is an interesting story which will explain to us the power of compounding, and I hope it will very strongly drive the message that why long-term can create magic and how it can create magic. There is this businessman's daughter who approaches her dad with a business proposal, and she asks her dad to invest some money in her new business venture. And her dad asks how much does she need, and she said around 30 lakhs of rupees. So he gives her two options. Option one, beta, I'll give you 1 lakh every day over the next 31 days, and that will be 31 lakhs for you. Option two is I'll give you 1 paise every day. But I will give you 1 paise on the first day. Second day, I'll give you 2. Third, I'll give you 4. Fifth day, I'll give you 8, and so on for the next 31 days. And he asks his daughter, you choose which is the best option for you, 1 paise per day or 1 lakh per day for the next 31 days. 1 paise, of course, which compounds every second day. So without even wasting a second, she said, obviously, I want the first option because it's very clear 31 lakhs is obviously much more larger and makes sense for me. So then her father asked her to go back to the room, use the calculator, apply some mind and get back to him again later. So she goes back, she applies her mind. Should I take the option of 1 lakh per day for 31 days, which gives me 31 lakhs, or should I go for 1 paise per day compounding every day for 31 days? Looks very simple to decide. And then she goes back to her dad and tells, Dad, I'm sorry. Actually, I did a mistake. I don't want the first option. Please, if it's okay, give me the second option. And it surprised me also when I read this story the first time that 1 paise per day, 31 days, why would someone opt for it? This is the reason why she opted for second option. And this is because of power of compounding. Is this believable?
A lot of things are not believable, but they are true.
It is true.
Yes.
It's a pure math formula. And I've also put the formula there just in case someone wants to, This is power of compounding. 1 paise per day could give her 2 crores in 31 days. This happened because of power of compounding. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and 8 becomes 16 and 64 and 2.1 crores in 31 days. Just imagine in 15 years what it can do for your portfolios. If you can compound. Of course, nothing can compound every day, but this is just to drive the message, to explain the power of compounding, the magic of compounding. And how does one achieve this in the portfolios? Long term. That's the secret. पैसा ज्यादा कमाना है या जल्दी कमाना है? And to support this argument, I also have some numbers, though I'm not here to discuss any stock specific ideas or sector specific ideas today, at least for this session, but to give you some example of how long-term can create magic in our portfolios. Most of us, the moment we talk equity, we associate equity with risk. Are equity risky hai? This is one of the biggest challenges I have faced in my 20 years of career. To drive home this message, what is risk actually? And I realized after 20 years, not investing in stock market or equities or long-term products is more riskier than investing into it. You will always get rewarded if you stay invested in equities. Someone may get rewarded highly, someone may a little less, but you will definitely get rewarded in the long term. And to share with you some examples, there are many hundreds and hundreds of such stories in India. I just picked up 1 or 2 for a quick reference. A stock like MRF, manufactures tire, was 11 rupees in 1993, not very long ago. In 2021, it is 80,000 rupees. Unbelievable. Apart from all the bonuses and dividends and other corporate benefits which the stock would have given. I'm not trying to sell stocks here. I'm not advising. Let me put the disclaimer. I am not asking anyone to invest into MRF or into Reliance. I'm just using these names to drive this message that what long-term can do. The value of 100 shares of Infosys in 94, we all are aware of what Infosys has done, was 9,500 rupees. Today, it is not less than 12 to 13 crores. It's too big a number to ignore. And this is not a promise which I'm trying to show that ye ban jayega. I'm telling what it has already done in the market. Without including the dividends and other corporate benefits, Reliance Industries is a stock which no one needs to be advised. A 10-year-old child knows Reliance today. You don't need any investment manager to tell us whether I should buy or not. A stock like that has delivered annualized 20% returns in the last 25 years. Now, investing into fixed markets, you would not have made more than 9%, 10%, 11% in the last 10, 15 years. Which is more risky then? So how to understand where to invest? So I made 3 or 4 baskets for a very simple understanding. To me, all the fixed income products, which are regular income products, which give you monthly income, half yearly income, annually income, which are safe, capital is safe, you can take back the money. I call them as the rose garden. When you when you set up a rose garden, you don't have to wait for long. They start, bearing flowers very soon, within 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then you keep getting regular flower income from them. Very similar to income funds, fixed deposits, PPFs, and all these fixed income products. And then you have the fruit orchard, which is the medium-term funds. It takes 60 months. Some fruit plants or trees may take 1 year or 2 years to grow, but they give you handsome returns regularly. And then equities are like the coconut groves. It takes very long time, but once it grows, it gives you handsome returns. In the long run, therefore, it pays to maintain a good balance between roses, fruits, and coconuts. I couldn't be more simpler than this. Imagine your portfolio as the garden in front of your house. Imagine it to be your farmhouse. Make sure you have some roses, some fruits, and some coconuts, and you'll never go wrong, most likely. To summarize, first thing, we have to put our financial house in order, set your goals, ask yourself, jaldi ya zyada, implement processes, remove emotions from your investment decisions, wear the hat of an investor, think objectively. Start early, it costs a lot to delay, and invest regularly. Enjoy fruits of compounding. Do not put everything in one basket, no matter how attractive it is. Diversify, grow some roses, fruits, and coconuts. And once you grow, please do not forget to help others. Let us all give it back. Stay happy. I tried to summarize this in the time given to me. There was so much more for me to share, so much more for me to discuss with you all. I give it back to Saurabh. I hope I was able to communicate certain principles of investments today. Saurabh, back to you. Thank you for your patient listening.
I think one of the best presentations I've ever seen for giving the fundas of investing. Rightly said, I think the key goal over here is not to earn fast, but to earn slow and more. One of the topics which he has mentioned, which I also follow, is compounding. A lot of people do not know what compounding is. So compounding means so if you go in a fixed deposit, you get, you have an option to choose how you want to make interest. So one of the option is you can get the interest back in your account. The other is simple interest, and the other is compounding interest. So it's basically how the money grows over the money, and the investment is what it is. So what I follow and what I recommend people is to start doing systematic investment plans. Invest regularly, because when you go and invest yourself, you will forget, or you will wait for the markets to time, which we do not want. And the systematic investment can happen in any of the asset class. So we will now, with this note, we will now open the question answers for the forum. I also have a lot of questions coming up on my desk, which I will ask. But if somebody wants to ask a question, I would like you to raise the hand. We will unmute you. Please ask relevant questions and short questions. We have short of time, and we would like to cover maximum questions starting now. So to start this topic, I would like to ask the first question. A lot of questions you've already covered. So one of the questions which came up is, I'm a first-time investor. All these mentioned you name is like 1993, 1994, 2000. Now what? I'm a first-time investor. Do you think it's the right time to invest in equity? Do you think it's the right time I should wait? Do you think I should wait for the markets to correct? How much do you want me to invest? Is a question which covers a lot of, I think, answers for a lot of people over here. First time investors. Mr. Anil.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Saurabh, I lost you in between.
Okay, so the question is for the first time investors. He mentioned that you have mentioned about, share markets, what was they for 1993, the returns are today, how is it gone? Like, it's all history. And also, whenever you invest, there's a disclaimer, do not consider the past performance for the future investment. So what is the message for a first time investor? Should they invest? If they want to invest, how much they want to invest into first time, how much portion they want to invest, and all that. So first time investor, a question for that. Would you like to answer that?
Thank you. Sure. I think the first criteria for the first time investor should be, can I get back the money when I want? Liquidity, no matter how attractive it is, it takes time for the first time investor to build confidence and faith. Today, we are talking about long-term and equities after 15, 20 years of experience. It takes time to inculcate and to imbibe that faith and trust. Therefore, the first time investor should always invest into products which can allow her or him to exit whenever he or she wants back the money. And according to me, one of the best products which gives you this option to exit whenever you want to exit are mutual funds. And within mutual funds, you have a variety of products ranging from 1-day investment to 10 years investment. One could sit with their advisors, or they could on their own study. It's not a difficult product to understand. Just set your goal, map your expectations, choose some good mutual funds, invest into them. You didn't like it, or there is a change of plan, press the button, you get back the money within 3 working days.
So thank you so much. First time investor, we advise you to go for a mutual fund rather than going for a direct equity. Mutual funds are being managed by seasoned investors. They know where to invest, and we have investments from 1 day to many days. Okay, so I already see some raise. Hema ji, can you ask your question?
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh ji. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right, great. First of all, thank you so much for the such a wonderful session. And I remember Dr. KK always used to say, when he used to quote the WHO definition of health, he always used to add financial health to that. So thank you for the session. My question is, suppose I have a lakh of rupees, and so how should I, what is the proportion to be invested in the Rose of Gardens, in fruits, and in coconuts? Thank you.
Thank you, Hemaji, for the question. Very simple. The rose garden is meant for short term. If you have some short term requirements or monthly requirements, then you please plant some rose gardens. And if you have some long term requirements, you do not need money for the next 2-3 years, only then you go for fruits and coconuts. Now, how much should I put into the fixed income? I mean, the rose garden portion. It depends on what is your monthly requirements or your income requirement, which could be monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or annual. Accordingly, you can, because income is a function of the returns and the capital you invest. So if you invest under a lakh of rupees, and if the rose gardens today are giving you around 7%, that means you can only earn that much in 1 year, 7,000 rupees per year. That's too little for you to take out monthly, then you take out annually. And then if you feel that I can actually invest out of this 50,000 rupees, maybe for 3 years, then go for the midterm products like the balanced advantage funds. According to me, one of the finest category for people with dilemma is balanced advantage fund. It's a very scientifically designed product. It has very little manual intervention. It runs on autopilot algorithms. When the markets go up, it automatically reduces your exposure to coconut gardens, the equities. And when the markets come down, it increases the exposure to the equities. And it does everything by itself. You don't have to do anything. So please explore this category of funds called balanced advantage funds. It's a wonderful product.
So people who do not know, balanced advantage fund is a kind of a mutual fund category where there's a portion of equity and debt, and the fund manager itself reduces and increases the equity and debt portion according to the market. Also, I think a lot of things depended on your risk profiling, that how much you're willing to take a risk, what is the duration of the investment, and what is your scenario today. So another question coming up is for the old investors, for the retired investors, what do you suggest? Do you still suggest them to go for an equity, because equity can give you short-term losses? Let's say if somebody who is first time investing at the age of 70 or 65 or 70, what do you suggest for them? Because we will have a lot of investors at this age. So this is a very relevant question for us.
My first advice to all such senior investors would be, don't invest, go on a holiday, enjoy the money.
Yes.
That's the first goal you should have. Forget about the returns on a lighter note. But on a serious note, if the money which you're planning to invest at the age of 70, 65 or 80 is for your own consumption, if you expect to use that money in the near future, please invest into medium term to short term funds. But if your intention is to leave behind this money for your family, for your children, or for your grandchildren, or for charities, then please invest into very long-term investments, which will yield fruits, and they will remember you for very, very long time for having done such a wonderful job of investing into long-term products. But if it is for your consumption, please put it into debt securities, but do not put too much into debt because it hardly gives you any returns. Take some risk, invest some portion into equities, not directly, again, through professionally managed funds. You have debt hybrid funds, which has 70%, 80% debt, 15, 20% equity. It's a wonderful product for the senior citizens. And that 15, 20% equity can do magic. It can take your returns to double digits.
Is there something similar to monthly income plans, MIPs?
Monthly income plan is meant specifically for people who just want to withdraw every month.
Okay.
But normally I have come across senior citizens who actually don't want money every month, but they have a psychological barrier that what if I need money every month? When you do that, when you invest into a monthly income plan, the fund manager behaves in such a way that he makes sure that every month there is some money available for dividends, which will dilute your performance.
How much?
Instead,
People who want the monthly money, they can also go for STPs, I think, from the rather than taking an MIP, they can go for an STP, which will be more tax efficient.
One thing I want to make it clear that when you invest into mutual funds, no matter how good, bad, or ugly it gets, you have the option to press the button, exit, and get back your money in 3 working days. That's the beauty. It's like entering into a theater. You went into the theater for a movie. You didn't like the movie. The exit door is open. No one forces you to watch the full movie.
Okay. So very, very important question on the screen, which has come from Mr. Vamsi, who is one of the health educator, is the view on insurance as an investment.
Saurabh, sorry to interrupt. Dr. Chanchal Pal has a question.
Okay. Dr. Chanchal Pal, can you ask your question?
Saurabh, you can go ahead with the question you were asking, and then I'll ask. Don't worry. Carry on with the question.
Okay. So insurance as an investment, a lot of insurance companies do promote insurance as an investment tool. So before you answer it, I would say never mix your goal of investing. Insurance is separate, investment is separate. Insurance cannot be an investment, investment cannot be an insurance. Insurance is to insure yourself. That has a specific goal. You need to ensure you're living in a lifestyle. You need to maintain a lifestyle for after you go. It could be a health insurance or it could be a life insurance. It is an insurance. It is not an investment. So over to you, Mr. Anil. How would you answer this question?
Yeah, I mean, you have rightly summarized it, Saurabh. Insurance products are by and large meant to cover your life, not for your benefit, but for people after you, behind you. So in if I were to give a simple example, I always tell that हम बाटा शोरूम जाते हैं शूज और चप्पल खरीदने. अगर वो साड़ी बेच रहा है तो मैं तो साड़ी नहीं खरीदूंगा ना बाटा से. मैं तो शूज खरीद के आ जाऊंगा क्योंकि बाटा is known for shoes. I rather buy sarees from a specialist, maybe some good silk saree showroom. So likewise, insurance is meant to cover my life for my family members. I buy good, pure term insurance, cheapest term insurance, and I manage my investment part with the mutual funds who are far better, or that's their job. I wouldn't say far better, it's their specialist job.
So it's like, Mr. Anil, I will ask you a COVID advice and it's like that, and you're giving me a medical advice rather than a financial advice is what this question is. And also,
sorry to interrupt here. There is a difference between health and medical insurance and life insurance. I was referring to life insurance.
yes.
COVID has reminded all of us the importance of having life insurance and health insurance.
Main entry जो है.
Okay. So Dr. Chanchal Pal, over to your question.
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh.
Morning office में आए हो क्या?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for the wonderful talk. Half we could understand. Some of we as a doctors don't have enough intellect when it comes to wealth. So,
Dr. Chanchal Pal, you got muted, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now is it all right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just wanted to know, like, we can't follow our investment. That was the reason we were not investing in equities and other funds. Recently, we started and we were all, I think many of us we were investing in properties. because there you just invest and you think that it will grow, which actually didn't happen eventually, and we got stuck in bad investment also. So now this stage when around 60, many of us are trying to exit property. So my question is specifically that should we exit property totally, or we should retain some, or is there any equity? I understand we are now starting, we are new investors to that. Many invest in equity and other stocks, but we are investing in balance equity, as you said, is a good idea. So, and another question is that when you exit property, some of the, we also rely on rental income for our future. So can we invest in tier 2 cities like, or may invest in holiday homes like Goa and Kasoli, and then expect a rental income and enjoy that property at all? So that is another question I wanted to know, that when we are exiting property, so should we exit totally, or should we shift to something like where we can have rental income and then invest rest of it into the equity market?
Okay, I wouldn't be able to give a clear answer to your first question, whether we should exit property fully. It will be wrong on my part to give an answer without, in isolation. It's like you giving a prescription without seeing the patient. I need to diagnose the whole situation, what property, etc., 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 and then probably I could answer the first question separately later on. Coming to your question of investing into property for a rental income. Let me tell you the mathematics which works behind rental income in Indian markets. Normally, the residential properties in India do not fetch more than 3% yield on your investment as a rental yield. Now, it's up to you whether it satisfies you. 3% is good enough for you. The problem with most of us in India is that we are somehow attached to tangible assets. We love tangible assets like properties and gold. हम जब प्रॉपर्टी खरीदते हैं तो बहुत बड़ा गृह प्रवेश होता है, पूजा होती है, इनविटेशंस और पार्टीज होती है। लेकिन जब हम 5 करोड़ का रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज खरीदते हैं तो किसी को कुछ मालूम नहीं पड़ता है। But the fact is that probably will give you better returns, but you don't feel that. And we are not tuned to intangible investments, unlike US markets. Why US markets are so advanced and matured? It's because long back, the US citizens realized the importance of investing into intangibles. हम Indians को सबको tangible assets अच्छा लगता है. Please look at the financial aspect of your property returns. Investing in Goa or Lonavala or any such place at the age of 65, 70, I would say avoid. It's a very difficult job to maintain. It's a very difficult job to find a tenant. And
unless you give us the address and we can enjoy the vacations.
What about the younger generation? If they want to invest in something like that and use it maybe 4 months in a year, and rest of the time the company rent it out?
A very subjective question, a very subjective answer, because it depends on each one's appetite. कि मेरे पास 50 करोड़ है और मैं 5 करोड़ का विला ले सकता हूँ, तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? बट अगर मेरे पास 10 करोड़ है और उसमें अगर मैं 5 करोड़ का विला लूं तो बिल्कुल फर्क पड़ेगा.
Right.
But I'm of the opinion that अगर आपको enjoy ही करना है, go to the best 5-star or 7-star resort in that area, enjoy there for 7 days, pay the money, come back.
So there is a say that do not invest all your eggs in one basket. What all your questions are very subjective, I agree. And all these answers are totally dependent on how much money do you have and what is an asset allocation you're putting in. Coming back on the same topic, I would say today there are other modes of investing money on the properties. There are ways you can invest through REITs or other modes of investments. There are alternate investment funds where you can invest, where you do not need to block your money as a tangible base. You don't need to maintain the property. Also, a lot of people have now shifted the focus of, rather than investing the money in the property, because the amount of money you can gain on the even a mutual fund, or which is a debt fund, is much higher. They have gone on rental incomes themselves rather than buying a property, because let's say a property in South Delhi would cost you about 10 crores or 20 crores. Look at the amount of interest you can get, and you can easily find a property of 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees a month, which you can go for it. But again, all those things are dependent on what is your goal and where you want to go forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Kavita Sanjay and Mr. Rakesh Verma, can you ask a question?
सर नमस्कार, अनिल जी नमस्कार। सर जो आपने दूध और दही का फंदा फेद वाला बताया, बिल्कुल ठीक बात है सर, फेद है तभी सब कुछ है। सर मेरा कहना है कि जो पैसे हम बैंक में या फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में जमा करवाते हैं, मे बी NBFC, और इन केस ऑफ द बैंकरप्सी, उसमें हमें कितने % सिक्योरिटी या सेफ्टी गवर्नमेंट का या RBI देती है, नंबर 1। सेकेंडली सर, जो शेड्यूल बैंक है या अदर देन नॉन शेड्यूल बैंक है, इसमें जो गारंटी बैंक या रेगुलेटर देता है, उसमें कोई वेरिएशन है सर क्या?
Yes, yes, this is something which has affected many senior citizens. It's a good question. सबसे पहले जब हम इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात करते हैं तो रिस्क तो सब में है। गिविंग माय ओन एग्जांपल ऑफ दूध एंड दही, कभी कभी सुबह दही बनता नहीं है कुछ कारण से, और वो रिस्क हमेशा रहती है। Coming back to security given by government, let me tell you, there is zero security or guarantee on NBFCs. There is only 1 lakh rupees of guarantee by Government of India on deposits of banks. The ministry is planning to make it 5 lakhs. I think this year they are going to increase it to 5 lakhs. But this is only when the bank goes bankrupt, when the bank liquidates, और आपका पैसा, फिक्स डिपॉजिटर्स का पैसा जब डूब रहा है, तो 5 लाख और 1 लाख से ज्यादा आपको गारंटी नहीं मिलती है। बट नॉर्मली बैंक्स फेलियर्स बहुत रेयर और बहुत कम होता है।
So again, very well answered. Lot of banks have shown a default, but again, the government of India has been very instrumental in cleaning it up and securing the money. Recently, a lot of cooperative banks have defaulted, which are now getting taken over by government banks. So again, the risk, which I will say is probably a credit risk of investing one portion of money in one bank, you rather than diversify. And there are other modes of investing where you can even deposit the money in RBI bonds through them. Again, coming to the bank topic, I would like to ask one question, which is there. A lot of banks are offering 6%, 7% interest rate on a saving bank, where the fixed deposits are lower. Also, the loan which people are taking are almost at par. How can do that? And is it safe to invest? I will not name the bank, but obviously it's very well known.
So basically, rate of interest is nothing but a function of demand and supply of money for that bank or in the money market. So sometimes the demand for short-term money is higher than the demand for long-term money. Therefore, the banks offer higher returns, rate of interest on savings bank accounts than their own fixed deposits, because they do not want long-term fixed deposit money. They are just looking for short-term money. Is it risky? No, not at all risky. It's an opportunity in the market. If you come across such a situation or an opportunity, yes, you can you can stay put in savings bank account and earn 6-7%. But that is very, very short term. It doesn't run for long. The moment that supply of money increases in the overnight and treasury market, the rate of returns or rate of interest on savings account will come down automatically. You cannot plan investments into them. You could just make some small money on that.
Okay. Another question, and we will be almost at the end of the session. So another question: gold as an investment tool, should we invest for a self-use, or should we put some portion of the money on the asset? I would say it's personal decision. You can invest in a physical gold. You can invest from a virtual gold today. RBI is issuing the bonds also from gold. There are many ways to invest in gold. So today, in this scenario, we are sitting in a modern world. You do not have to physically invest in a property. You do not have to physically invest in a gold. You can invest through various channels on a virtual platform. You can sit anywhere in the world. You do not need to manage it. You do not need to be very, very sure that, okay, my locker has a gold or my house has a gold. You can invest through a virtual channel. There are a lot of options available. You can always invest in the markets through ETF, which are there, which are exchange trading funds. Okay, so anyone having a last question? Otherwise, we will take some messages from Anil ji and we will wind up this session. Anyone has a final questions?
Sir, the government of India had floated a scheme where from the employer would also invest and get exemption. I don't recollect the name of the fund where even the individual can also invest. What about the status of that bank and how should we go about those pensioners or an ordinary student?
Mr. Hiralal, I'm not aware of this, which particular scheme.
I'm just forgetting the name. It's a big fund. It's a government of India's fund where from the employer is supposed to, he can invest in and he gets a tax exemption also.
Are you talking about the Provident Fund given by
No,
the...
Provident PPF is a separate issue. It's a new creative few years back.
Even I'm not aware of it.
Not aware of this product.
it's
Probably it
something-
applies only to the
Government.
employers' social security schemes.
So I would just like to answer the public
But honestly,
provident
I'm
fund.
not aware of
Yeah.
this.
No, it's not a public provident.
Okay.
I know about that. It's a system they have created many years back. It's a huge fund.
Okay, Vivek uncle, would you like to take the session forward and close it with him?
So I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Heart Care Foundation of India. In fact, I would like Naina to close the session. Naina is online, Dr. KK's daughter.
Anna, are you there?
Naina is there, no?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
So yes, Naina, why don't you close the session? Huh?
So just to answer, since Nana is here, I think I would like to answer this. She gave me some money to invest, and she said, "Agar aapne mera paisa kho diya, to I will take away the Rashi." So I think Nana should be happy.
Goro is a national pension scheme.
तो जुकाम वाली भी दे देनी है घर में जो पड़ी है और बुखार है तो बुखार वाली देनी बाकी
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. So I
next-
would like Naina to close the session on behalf.
Thank you so much for joining us, Anil Arji. This was an amazing session. Like Saurabh just said, I'm a very paranoid investor, and I've always had conversations with Papa, and he used to, and me and him were always on a very similar page when it came to investments and things. Very simple, right? Work 14 hours a day to earn the money. Don't want to lose it. So I'd rather have the money that I've earned than to risk everything from all of that and all the hard work and everything. So now I'm starting to understand investments a little bit and play around with the market, and of course with everyone's help, because I still don't, I'm still not at all confident about it. But thank you so much for explaining everything in such a simple manner. It's people like me who need sessions like this, who are absolutely paranoid investors, and it brings a lot of confidence. And has a lot of input.
Anilji, national pension.
Okay, so yeah, Nana, continue.
Yeah. Thank you for continuing supporting the Heart Care family. We will continue doing the work that we're doing. Please keep suggesting, everyone logged in here. Please keep suggesting topics. We would love your inputs as to what all we can do and how we can do it. One thing that I wanted to put up for a discussion is that from next week onwards, we are thinking of shifting the time of the session to 2 p.m. because we're aware that every person is now back to work. 10 o'clock in the morning may not be convenient for a lot of people. If you agree with that, and if so we want to make all the sessions convenient for people so that everyone can join in the middle of reaching office or doing important morning work. People don't have to leave what they're doing, and they can continue to keep joining us. So that's a point that we're just putting out for discussion. Rest would be happy to listen to everyone on their feedback.
Thank you, Naina. Thank you for those compliments. I remember one of my good meetings with Dr. KK Agarwal at your house, where we all had lunch together. It was almost 10-15 years back. And I still remember the childlike innocence of your dad, Just when Vivek Agarwal and myself were entering the car, he came down to see us off, and he removed 2 sets of playing cards from his bandi, pockets of his bandi, and he said, "Nahar ji, hum aapko kuch playing cards ke tricks dikhate hain." And to me, that till today remains etched on my mind, the childlike innocence, the excitement, and the enthusiasm which he always had. So thank you so much. Appreciate this opportunity, and I hope it was not as boring as I intended it to be.
No, I think so. With this note, we would like to end this wonderful session, and thank you, Mr. Anil Nahar, for presenting the topic at a very, very grassroots level. People do understand, and this is a topic which cannot be understood in one session, so we will bring more sessions to you. Please, I also request people to go and read about it so that you can be self-sustained on things which are happening in the market. With this note, I would like to end this session. Thank you so much for being with us.